This series of bonus podcast episodes were taken from my 9-hour live stream on the 15th of April 2020. I interviewed 16 speakers back to back whilst on lockdown from the coronavirus pandemic, and I thought I would edit them just for you. Hope you enjoy and stay safe, my friends.
How we doing, Ian? All right?
Leon, lush to have you with us. I'm so pleased because you guys are sponsoring this session all about the DCI, and it leads us quite well into some of the discussions we've had today about funding and support and mentorship and everything. And that's you. That's your role in all of this because you do a lot of that. So where would you like to start, Leon?
Well, why don't we start about, what is an incubator, basically? Do we explain that and just give everyone a highlight of what's out there as well? So essentially, incubators, accelerators as well, are programs that primarily help kind of startup businesses. And essentially, the difference between the two is an incubator generally starts with like pre-startup, startup. The length of the programs usually longer, and generally they're set up in a certain geographic area as well. And the guidance there is to kind of provide a program to provide the building blocks in helping a business really kind of plow through that idea, develop a business plan, developing a business model, and really test that business. Essentially, an accelerator is slightly different, where sometimes they're more sector focused, so maybe tech, something like that. Normally shorter programs, and they're looking really for businesses with kind of high growth potential scale up, and often from that they're linked into networks, mentors, and the focus is more on the investment side. So there's similarities and differences, but essentially, I'm here to talk about the Durham City Incubator and incubators in general. Really, it's just to provide the building blocks, Ian, just to help businesses get off on sound footing, and to carry on from the Lego kind of session that Terry's done. I'll kind of just show. So there's a little car there. So maybe you come in with as your business, you're a little bit confused, and you want to make your car go super fast and your business grow. And ultimately, what we'll then do is provide you with the tools. So there's your little toolkit. It could be putting you in touch with the right mentor, investor, could be helping you with your business plan, your strategy, anything like that. And then at the end, you come out super fast.
Look at that.
With a little smiley face. So yes. Sorry about that. I got to get carried away with that. But yes.
Into the session. So you mentioned there about they're coming from maybe in its infancy, Leon, or could it be an established business? Has it got to be a new startup?
Yeah, I mean, there's different incubators, accelerators, but in terms of DCI and a lot of the other ones in the Northeast, they tend to be kind of like startup, just pre-start maybe idea, but ready to start up, if that makes sense. In terms of the businesses I kind of deal with, I look for kind of three things: are the potential high growth. So basically, you think about that business idea and has it potential to kind of grow quickly? Is it scalable? So basically, ultimately, it's going to create jobs. It's going to be not just local, potentially national, potentially international. And then the final thing, second one is innovative. So I'll look for innovative businesses, usually high risk. Probably high risk of failure, which, it's a bit of a shock to the system when people come on the program. But not every business works. But we'll look for innovative businesses, something different, maybe in a niche market, maybe a new product or service they've come up with. And then the final thing kind of look for at a business at a really early stage is the people themselves. So you're looking at their kind of background, their skills, and their attitude as well. So them three of the key things that I look for. I wouldn't imagine any other incubator as any different, but I think a combination of them, then you've got a chance to be part of a program.
It's really interesting there about what you said about the kind of risky element. Why is that a thing, Leon? Why is it the risk that you're interested in?
Yeah, so it's, I think it's kind of proven in terms of risk. You know, I'll put it this way, and this is not being disrespectful in any way. What was mentioned beforehand, there's lots and lots of great micro businesses out there, but setting up a business is really difficult, whatever game you're in, and particularly in times like these, it's super hard. But developing an innovative business has kind of an extra layer of complexity around there, because you're probably going into an unknown market. There's unknown things that can happen on your journey, and the cost involved is often immense as well. So innovative businesses tend to be high risk because of all of them factors. And I often say sometimes there's I said all the founders on the programs, you're going to get chucked curveballs. Mm-hmm. And the curveballs are, no matter how much planning you do, there's just things happen that you're not ready for, which can throw you off track, and therefore the risk is really high. Having said that, I always keep saying about the curveballs, with the current situation with the COVID-19, that's more of a hand grenade than a curveball, which has affected every business. So it'll be interesting in terms of innovative businesses, how the landscape is in terms of the financing, because often innovative businesses need financing behind them.
Let's talk a little bit about financing them, because a lot of people look for finance, and where does the incubator have something where it's got some finance attached to it?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty lucky at Durham City Incubator in terms of we offer a £2,500 grant, which is very rare now, where you kind of get grant funding to support your business. So that's certainly useful, because it's fairly flexible to kind of cover overheads. If you're developing a product or an app, you've got a little bit of investment to start you off. Secondly, as well, we team up with North Star, essentially one of the investment businesses in investment organizations in the Northeast, and they offer an optional £7,500 loan. So basically the package could be around £10,000. I think as part of that as well, we encourage the founders and the businesses to link in with a wider business support ecosystem. So there's likes of NBSL, there's Digital Drive in Durham, there's Northeast BIC, there's RTC, and Growth Hub and so forth. Provide lots of business support in various means, and sometimes they provide funding towards projects as well. As part of that as well, we've got the North Star Loan Fund. We also link the funders with other investment opportunities as well. So to be honest, there's the Northeast has got investment there. It doesn't compare to anywhere like London, but nevertheless, to start a business, it is a pretty good place. So in terms of investment, it's okay as a startup.
I think what you mentioned there about like linking people up, but you're also linking them up with other like-minded businesses as well. I'm involved with you guys and delivering some of your workshops, and that's the real beauty of what I see is they're all around that table together on an even keel, if you like, going through the same business challenges of a new startup, getting a value proposition polished, understanding your market, your sectors, taking it to market, your social media bit, your marketing bit, the sales process. They're all kind of working together, actually, like mentors, really.
Yeah.
Obviously you do a lot of the mentorship as well, but actually they kind of all mentor each other as well.
Yeah. You're totally right, Ian. So you know from your experience, on the delivery, you do the boot camp right at the beginning and the energizer halfway through. I think one of the beauties of an incubator or accelerator is that kind of, you have a little cohort, so you're all working together. And it's amazing the different skill sets of people. So you mentioned there, you cover a whole range of things in business. I call it Tommy 10 hats. You got your marketing hat on, and then your product development hat or whatever that may be. But you sometimes find some people have been there, done it, got the T-shirt, or they're educated well in marketing or whatever, and they can just take someone aside or the group aside and say, "Look, this is what I suggest." So there's that kind of the practical sharing experience and knowledge. But you're right, is they're all going through the same journey, probably at different stages. But it's just to share experience and they're all in it together, which is a really good thing to be part of. And I think in particular this time here, obviously like everyone else, we're doing some of the workshops online. But it's just good to meet together and just share and grumble and show some of the, the achievements people make, to provide a little bit of inspiration. So there's all that kind of stuff that's really good. So you form your own little network. And what I've noticed from DCI moving forward is even, on to a third cohort now, I still keep in touch with the first and second cohorts, and they keep in touch with each other, which is a really cool thing, So that's a really, really important part of being part of an incubator or an accelerator.
Yeah, and it is. I still keep in touch as well. A lot of it around social media. I see their posts and I'll respond, or I'll retweet or share or whatever. And it's like you say, it just kind of never leaves. You're always got a support mechanism.
Definitely. And I think adding to what you just said before, Ian, is another important part. Obviously, there's a program, there's workshops, but the dealing with guys like yourselves and other people who are, maybe not yourself who's great in the field, but others are quite. No, all due respect, we've got some great people in delivering there, and you go out your way, so you are well connected, just showing the show that you've put on today, your connections, you can get them founders to connect to them people if they're going to help the business, and that's how it works as well. It's the networks are really important as a small business, and they take a lot of time if you graft at it yourself. But if you can use other people to introduce you to them, then your own little business ecosystem is going to build up a lot quicker, which is super important.
I hadn't thought about that from a delivery point of view. So the delivery team that you bring in, it's beneficial for them to be well connected and have a good network, because they'll then have that other influence on the cohort as well. Definitely.
And all about kind of networking as well as, if you've met someone on the cohort and, they're all good people, and you make the connection to someone, that there's a trust element there as well. Whereas if they try to approach that person, cold, there's barriers there. So it's just showing you like some of like the hidden benefits of being a part of like an incubator or an accelerator program, which I would really recommend to any business that's thinking of starting up or wanting to grow and scale up.
When you do your kind of wash up, or you survey them at the end, what is it? What's the thing that sticks out for them?
Yeah, well, that's quite interesting, because I'm glad you asked that question, because I think in terms of every founder, they find different things that are valuable to them, and that's the beauty of being part of one. So some people enjoy some of the workshops, particularly some, and they just get a little bit of gold there where they say, right, that's really turned me business. Some of them through connections, networks, so they've really getting some great opportunities. Some of them in terms of raising investment, so we've had pretty good track record. Over the first two cohorts, we're nearly at £1 million. So and that's in total 16 businesses. So pretty good. So there's the investment side. There's that community side, which we've already mentioned, with the network, being part of a team. And some people have said foolishly that just some of the one-to-ones as well. So obviously you spend a bit of time on a fortnightly basis, just keeping them on track with a project, So it's a different thing to every person you ask. But most people who've been on it have seen the value in it,
So it sounds like a bit of accountability as well. Then, when you say kind of one-to-ones or the fortnightly catch-ups, I can imagine what they look like. It's like, so did you do what you say you're going to do?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. And in terms of that, that's important because one thing I would say to people if they're considering an incubator or accelerator is kind of think about some milestones. So that's important business. You've got to have a strategy. But if you're going to attend apply for an accelerator or an incubator, have a think about the time scale you're going to be on there and what you want to achieve and are they achievable. Because that's what you're going to chat to someone who's on the program, who delivers on the program. You're going to set up an action plan. And basically, they're going to kind of push you and challenge you to meet them milestones, which I think is a good thing. And as a small business, founder, that someone is there pushing you. And it's sometimes things don't work out. So sometimes you just need a little, arm around your shoulder and say, well, what else could we do? How do we change it? So it's coming from that perspective.
So I'm in South Tyneside, and obviously you work in Durham, the DCI in Durham. From an authority point of view, who decides? Do they put out and try to win some funding from Europe to put this on, or?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So I've got a hats off to kind of Business Durham, which is the economic development arm of Durham County Council. They'd work closely with Durham University and felt the need that an incubator may kind of stimulate more of the kind of graduates, postgraduates from Durham University to stay in Durham. So that's one of the main aims of our incubator. And we also work alongside New College Durham as well to stimulate entrepreneurship. So there was a key focus around why Durham City Incubator was born. But I think, from what's happened with Durham City Incubator, I have had discussions with other local authorities and they see the value in it. I think it is worthwhile. So coming back to what you asked in terms of our programs funded by European Union ERDF. So we're thankful that we got money for that. But there's opportunities to if there wasn't budgets there, you could approach North Star, perhaps. They back Ignite and some other programs that they may kind of put some investment in and come to an arrangement where more can be set up. So I think what I've noticed is there's some other brilliant accelerator incubator programs. Some of the universities do some great stuff. Newcastle, Sunderland, Northumbria. There's also Ignite, which is tech startup, which is a really great program. NatWest, Tuss Park, all of them kind of things. There's some really good programs out there, and they're all funded slightly different, but ultimately they do the same job.
And it's only for a short. Is it like a year or two, or what?
Well, often less than that. So depending on the program, I would say on average between. It could be as short as 1 month, but rule of thumb's kind of between 3 and 6 months, I would say. But they are pretty difficult. The selection process is pretty difficult to get on them. So, yeah.
And then once the 6 months comes, what happens then?
Yeah, so it depends on which program you're on. I know a lot of the Some of them I've mentioned, Ignite and accelerators were mentioned. If you're on the cohort, you build that kind of community, so you tend to meet up afterwards. If we've got shared workspace, you can pop in there as well. I think with the Durham City Incubator, what we do is we're very conscious of your 6 months, see you later, bye. We don't kind of offer that kind of option. So what we do, we're based at Salvers House, which is a lovely building. On the ground floor, we've got a space there where they can go there for another 6 months.
All right.
So you've got really like a 6 month kind of runway, in other words, for your premises, which is in a beautiful place. We also team up with Atom Bank, which is interesting. Is that they have a little incubator program themselves where they select someone off the DCI after this program ends to move into Atom Bank, which obviously that's a great opportunity in itself. So I'm very thankful for their support.
Is that just from a space point of view or a mentorship point of view, or is it like an osmosis point of view where you're around people and you're going to feel more entrepreneurial and get more ideas? Or
yeah, I think with Atom Bank, it's obviously the space first and foremost, but to have an address that you're based at Atom Bank, in terms of it gives off a good impression. But having worked with Ed and some of the others from Atom Bank, they are very helpful, but it is that kind of creative space as well. So I think that's important. I mean, it's a really cool place for a young founder to be part of. So so it's a good vibe,
Young founders like ourselves.
Oh, totally, yes, yeah. I keep noticing when I'm jiggling in my chair, I keep seeing the wrinkles as I get closer.
You could have some white light blasting in your face and making you look like Darth Sidious.
I know, yeah. So I noticed my head's going like a rock lobster as well. So
so last few minutes are really interesting. Is like through the cohorts that you've saw come in, what is their main challenge? And I'm asking this from a problem shared, a problem half point of view, because there's going to be a lot of new founders, micro businesses watching this right now, thinking that they're the only ones that are going through this. What is the main challenge that you see, that you often speak about from a mentorship point of view?
Yeah, there's have I got to just do one? No, thanks. No, there's a few which is a common theme. So I think first of all is the kind of business model. So does that business model stack up, and can they validate that? So that's everything. Every founder with an innovative product is got to find a way to find out. So obviously, Ian, you deliver the business model canvas, value proposition. And halfway through the Energizer, the value proposition's probably changed. So maybe their customers, it may be their offer, it could be, they could have pivoted and could be totally different. That's a learning process that everyone goes through. Your first idea might not be right. It might need fine tuning. And sometimes it might just not work. You're going to discover that. And I think part and parcel of being an incubator, it is a safe space where you could try them risks and we'll manage them risks as best as we can. So that's one in terms of finding out the business model. I think the second one is understanding the customers, and that goes across any business, and particularly with a startup business. And my pet hates are who your customers, anyone and everyone, or any business, and it does
I'm smiling away.
It does my head in. So if I could give some advice, anyone or everyone or any business, it's not you in terms of marketing, you can't market to everyone in any business. So it's finding your customer segment, your niche market, or I call them your perfect customers. And you sometimes got to categorize them as well. I often talk about bread and butter customers, and they might not be your ideal customers, but they bring cash in, and then ultimately that's what you want to do. So your perfect customers in terms of your sales funnel might take ages to start getting them. And particularly with a new business, you've got no track record. You might not even have a product. So it's all of that kind of stuff is big learning. And then I think that probably the final one is a common one is investment. In investment, it takes time. Investment is so I mentioned, there's literally a 10 grand package there, but if you're developing an app, 10 grand may not be enough. So is the investment out there who fits best for your business? And that's really important to discover, and what's out there as well. So there's three things there really, but they're common themes which you get asked all the time.
Well, that's a nice little segue into our next guest. So, Leon, I'd like to thank you so much for your time. Thanks to the DCI. Is there anything you want to leave us with before we go?
No, just if anyone's interested in the DCI or wants to get in touch, there's the website below, and just everyone who are thinking about a business, kind of consider the accelerators and incubators and the business support out there, because there is some good support. But thanks for having me, Ian. It's been a pleasure.